Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'm sorry, that was a very shitty introduction. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I hope that everybody's having a wonderful day. My allergies is acting up today, so it's a dry environment that I moved to. If you guys don't know anything about Tonopah, Nevada, but we're up in the mountains, and so it's really dusty. It's really dry. My skin is dry at the moment. I look like I've aged like 60 years because it's just not. I'm not used to this environment because I'm used to living in the city. But anyways, um, so my allergies is acting up, and I have a banging headache. If you guys don't know how headaches, sinus headaches feels like, it feels like my brain is about to explode. But I came across this article that I was kind of, distracting myself, and it's reciprocity. And if you guys don't know anything about reciprocity, you hear a lot. You hear Dr. Peterson saying it, you hear Donald Trump saying it, things like things like that. And I wasn't really aware of the word itself, but I wanted to understand what is going on in our current society and why people are acting the way that they are. And I have experienced, a dysfunction in my gift giving um, system in my world. And when you think about reciprocity, you think about goods. Um, if you look at the picture, the guy's giving that guy giving the other dude a lobster. I think that's a lobster, and then I'm looking at this one right here. Let me zoom in real quick. I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you can see that this guy right here is they're exchanging goods, and this reciprocity uh could be talked about in a kind of a personal relationship type of way. Um, Sometimes you feel so at the moment I'm exhausted, and if I talk about like energy, a transfer of energy, and I get nothing back in return, then I get really exhausted. I've given my time and energy to people that don't deserve my time and energy, and this is what happens with people who are very sensitive like I am, where you try to be a good person and you help them, and then you get nothing back in return. You can hear this story in Jesus Christ in the Bible where he helped the leper, the people who are really sick. They didn't say thank you or anything like that. They just didn't say thank you to Jesus Christ, which is a good thing. I mean, it's cool that you give your time and energy to people that really need it, but at the same time, it will drain your energy, and you're gonna have to recharge. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I feel bad myself when I provide my time and energy to people. Like, for instance, I do help people do not commit suicide. I've helped 5 people in my lifetime to not kill themselves, and that gave me a sense of purpose. But at the same time, it does really exhaust me because you are giving, even if you don't see the energy, even if it's not there, you could just feel your energy draining when you're trying to help these people. So yeah, I mean, I'm really tired at the moment, and so that exchange is not given back to you. I mean, if you're helping somebody and then nobody's coming to you for help, that is a dysfunction in reciprocity, in a personal level. This article that I'm about to read is more of a exchange of goods in between villagers, states, counties, things like that. But like I said, it could be talked about in a kind of a personal level as well. If you're the one going helping everybody else, and it's really exhausting. So this is could be pertained to people who are social workers, for example. They take their job home with them. Social workers, they deal with a lot of shit. They deal with the public. So that's why majority of the time that you go and come across these people who are social workers, they come across really grouchy, moody. People who work in the welfare system, for example, dealing with shitty people who are, not shitty people, but people who are like down and about. So you're getting that energy from the people, and you're not getting anything in return. So you have to find somewhere where you can get that energy back, if you guys know what I'm saying. So that's what I have been dealing with myself, and I totally understand where the social workers coming from. I understand where all these, even therapists, for example, is another good one. I mean, those people get paid bank. They make great money, but they need therapy too, because you're dealing with mental health issues and stuff like that. Really deep, problematic things that people go through from childhood trauma, abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and stuff like that. So they need therapy too. So if you don't give yourself an outlet to release that, to release not only your pent up energy, you're gonna feel like how I'm feeling at the moment, where you're really exhausted and your bone hurt, everything hurts. So it's exchange of energies. So I'm gonna read this article to kind of break it down even more. What reciprocity is. What is it, and what are its implications? So, like I said, there you see this dude giving a lobster to this dude. This dude giving, I think that's milk, back to this dude. Exchange of stuff. Okay. Excuse me. Reciprocity, as defined by the Oxford English Dictionary, is the quality, state, or condition of being reciprocal. I can't pronounce it. Oh, I'm exhausted, guys. Reciprocal action or relation, especially reciprocation of cooperative or altruistic behavior. Woo! I can read. Like I said, guys, when it's my allergies is acting up, my eyes get really watery and I can't even talk straight. So, anyways, reciprocal, defined as return in kind, made. I'm right here, guys. Sorry, given, etc. in response, answering, and corresponding. And before I even go on as well, so when I ask you guys right now, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. So we are doing the exchange right now. The moment that you guys hit that like and subscribe button, it tells me in my brain, hey, people like my stuff. I'm going to continue to provide you guys with something. And basically, my purpose is not my YouTube channel and my podcast and stuff like that, is to attempt, me and you, to update our consciousness. That's my value to you. So when you guys do that, I'm continue making videos and stuff like that. So it really helps a lot. Anyways, in daily conversation, reciprocity is frequently used interchangeably with terms such as exchange and sometimes even trade. But are these words identical in meaning or merely similar? Reciprocity, as applied in gross national generosity (GNG) and as used by the Dignified Pacific Initiative (DPI), is defined by the reason of Dr. Katu, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Kaitayui Pengai Funaki. It does not include the sense of bartering found in exchange or trade. Following Dr. Funaki explains the concept of reciprocity as it understood in his homeland of Tonga, where it's considered a cultural value. Further, he states that this interpretation of the reciprocity can be found throughout the Pacific Island countries, which he asserts share a common value system, and they're a lot happier than us Americans, by the way. Okay, reciprocity in the Pacific. In the Pacific culture context, reciprocity is not an exchange, even though both reciprocity and exchange are commonly understood as creating mutual benefit within a relationship. The distinction made between reciprocity and exchange revolves around motivations and intention. So pretty much, what's your motivation? What's your intention before you engage in a friendship or engage in a trade? What's your intention? What's your motivation? Are you doing it to benefit yourself? Are you doing it to benefit your family? Are you doing it because you're trying to find more friendship, new friendship, things like that? For exchange, the motive is self-interest, with the intent of maximizing one's own benefit from the relationship. In the Pacific, for reciprocity, the motive is the other party's interest, and intent is to maximize that party's benefit from the relationship. Pacific cultures pair reciprocity with generosity and utilize reciprocity focus on the partner to maintain and strengthen relationship. And you don't see this in the United States of America anymore. You see a lot of, so if this doesn't work, if there's no like a mutual negotiation. This is why I talk about a lot about compromise. I talk about a lot about negotiation. What's your purpose of watching my YouTube channel, for example? What's my purpose of asking you to like and subscribe to my channel? What's my purpose to get to know you? Things like that. And so when you kind of get that information in your brain, you start to know your intention and stuff like that, and how can you maximize it in a way that will benefit both parties or multiple parties. Okay. Reciprocity is also perceived as a vehicle for maintaining dignity and self-respect, which Pacific cultures realize through a cycle of gift giving. And gift giving, the obligation to give, to receive, and to reciprocate a gift. From the foundation for dignified relationships, the first obligation to give a gift initiates the relationship. The second obligation, I really like this part. The second obligation is to receive a gift, establishes the relationship, as refusing the gift would signify rejection. The third obligation, to reciprocate a gift, sustain the dignity of both the giver and the receiver, and simultaneously strengthen their relationship. The gift giving system encourages hard work by individuals, as everyone who receives must also give. Abstaining from receiving would denote refraining from giving, which by default means avoiding reciprocity. Failure to reciprocate results in a loss of dignity and mana, spiritual authority, or self-respect. Thus, reciprocity in the Pacific is the cornerstone of all communities. So you're going to give a gift. That means you want to initiate a relationship. If you reject a gift, that means that you reject that relationship. If you receive the gift, then you have to give back. Okay, so for example, if you guys to donate to me, it could be like $1, $5, or $30. Then I have to tell myself, okay, I'm gonna have to make more content, and what can I do to serve you? And like I said, here in America, the society is a little bit different. I don't know if you guys feel the same way that I do. I mean, if you're European or you guys are from other countries or anything like that, but you see a lot of this reciprocity is it's becoming a dysfunction at the moment, because nobody's giving nothing to anybody. Like, it's like shit. Like, if you for another good example is products that are made in China. Okay, shitty products, yet we are exchanging with them. We are doing business in China for the United States of America to have cheap goods, and therefore it leads to pollution, pretty much environmental disaster and stuff like that in China. So we in the West are destroying the environment in third world countries. Okay, let's admit that. Let's talk about Apple. It's a good example with the pollution and stuff like that. So we're exchanging stuff in return for cheap goods, but at the same time, we are, whether you like it or not, we're participating in third world country slavery. You see what I'm saying? It's like the reciprocity, the relationship between us and China is kind of like we're fucking up the third person in the exchange, who didn't even want to be in the exchange to begin with. Okay, so if you give something and you get nothing back, you feel rejected. And so, but if you receive something, like if like for example, if you guys don't know this, I used to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and they provided everything for me. They provided their resources, their home, everything. And now they told me that even if I don't want to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, that I would continue to be a good person. That's exactly what I'm doing, because I'm giving back to the world. And like I said, it's really exhausting. So you're going to have to like control what you give as well. But at the same time, when somebody gives you something, make sure you give it back, even if that's kindness. Okay? The art of reciprocity in Oceania. The three obligation of the gift giving cycle also indicate the steps for building a balanced relationship, as the motivation for reciprocity is to cultivate the relationship with the other party's interests in mind. So you have to think about the other party. You have to think about other people. And like I said, here in the United States, it's more like an individual, narcissistic culture here. The party reciprocating. The party reciprocating must carefully consider the three main pillars of reciprocity, which are one, time and space. When. Content. What. 3. Presentation. How. So pretty much give me a time. What are you giving me? And how and why should I accept it, or why should I get it? Why should I accept this relationship? Why should I accept this gift? Things like that. Okay. So it's going to break it down. Time and space. When. The timing of when to reciprocate a gift demonstrates respect for the other party and adds an element of intimacy to the relationship. And remember, guys, if you're a late person, stop fucking doing that. Be on time. Even if it's for your appointment, even if it's for meeting a friend for dinner, even if it means going to the movie on time. It's respect for the other party. Okay? Delivering reciprocity immediately upon receiving gift is observed as striving to avoid indebtedness to the other party. Precisely the goal in ordinary exchange. So this could be relating to business exchange. If you are a podcaster like me, so when I invite you onto the Far Out Wisdom podcast, if I invite you, for example, I do a live stream with V, Remaining TV, I'm on time. And the thing that I love that relationship between V and I is that we exchange values to each other. So when I go on his show, on a live stream with his show, I make him money. And at the same time, in exchange simultaneously to me, he gives me more views. He gives me his fans to my show. Okay? Okay, let me see. Okay. As reciprocity is not exchange, this concept of owing the other party for a period of time is crucial to the time space pillar. So if you owe a debt, if you borrow money from mama and dada, pay it back, okay? Because they took the time out of their day to go to the bank, get money, give you the money, and to pay your, I don't know, your subscription to an OnlyFans or something. Okay. Okay. The other party for a period of time is crucial to time space pillar. Okay. Space pillar. Owing the other party shows respect to their giver, and the gap in time connecting reception with eventual I can't even pronounce that word. Reciprocation. Becomes an unseen string that draws intimacy and trust into the relationship. More about the concept. Okay. Sorry, my husband's really loud. 2. Content. What? Reciprocity encourages the receiver to deepen their knowledge of the giver. Such knowledge is necessary for identifying what among the receiver resources can be given in return that will maximize the giver's benefit from the relationship. Further, the process of determining what to reciprocate contributes to the empowerment and inclusiveness. The receiver owns the initiative in acting at this point in the gift-giving cycle, and the necessity of reciprocating with something from among the receiver's own resources demonstrates the value of what the receiver has to offer, and also promotes capacity building from within. These aspects of empowerment and inclusiveness are building blocks for increasing the receiver's dignity and self-respect. I'm right here. Additionally, increasing knowledge of one partner's in a relationship inherently strengthens that relationship. So you talk about my relationship between me and my husband. He gives me things and I give him things. And whether you're like it or not, it can't be like a one-way street in a relationship, because that's gonna fail. If the relationship is only one way, if their reciprocity is only a one-directional narrow space, then it's not gonna work out. It's gonna fail tremendously. Okay, it's gonna fall off the fucking cliff. Okay. Okay, presentation. How? Presentation is at heart of reciprocity. How something is presented embraces two key concepts. One, utmost humility, and two, utmost ambition. These fundamentals of reciprocity highlights the receiver's generosity throughout presenting ambition's resources together with the highest degree of humility back to the giver. Such presentation is accomplished through sharing lack. In the Pacific, the value of generosity is about sharing lack rather than sharing abundance. There's a saying that the Pacific that when we have little, we share. When we have much, we eat freely. Give thought only to oneself. Reciprocating from the perspective of lack demonstrates the depth of the receiver's appreciation for the gift received by sharing something of value from among the receiver's own limited resources. The value of that item reciprocated is calculated by considering the degree of sweat required for the receiver to have obtained it. The receiver also does not want to inadvertently one up the giver by I can't pronounce that word. Reciprocating something exchanged the value of the original gift given. Thus, the receiver demonstrates humility and show respect for the giver by reciprocating appropriately, which simultaneously maintains the balance in the relationship. And I see this a lot and among my own family, where they want to fucking one up the gift for my parents. That's bullshit, because just because you give a gift doesn't necessarily mean that it's out of love. It's out of competition. And so when you do competition gift giving, it means nothing. It means nothing at all. You're just buying the love of your parents, okay? You're not giving from your heart. You're giving it to earn fucking respect from your parents, okay? You see this a lot in Asian communities. Where are we today? Dr. Fanaki's research into overseas development aid in the Pacific spotlight as break down the gift-giving cycle, which he argues has contributed to the dysfunction and loss of balance in the ODA donor-recipient relationship. The breakdown is also restituted in the loss of dignity and self-respect currently afflicting the peoples of the Pacific, which is unfortunate. And here in the United States, same thing, especially in the fucking West. Anything globally, okay? This breakdown can be traced back to the norms introduced during the colonial period that appear to have embraced some of the key pillars of reciprocity. Fortunately, a high proportion of indigenous knowledge, including the values of reciprocity and generosity, has survived in the PICs, and can be reintegrated into today's social value system. But more, these specific values have the potential to restore balance but to all types of relationship within the community of nations, including donor-recipient relationship. DPI's mission is to introduce the Pacific value of reciprocity and generosity globally, with the vision of straightening the contemporary socio-economic system worldwide. So that's a good breakdown of what reciprocity is, and you see that today, where the exchange of stuff, the gift giving cycle is dysfunctional. It's just loss, and I see that a lot. And I'm not the only one that's experienced this exhaustion. And a lot of people are beginning to put their walls up. They don't want to provide their emotion anymore, and you don't see people helping each other anymore because what's in it for me type of attitude, which is kind of healthy in a way, but at the same time, it's selfish at the same time. And the breakdown of the family, you don't see a lot of family together anymore, and it's really odd for me because I live in a very dysfunctional family unit, and so I have my own family, and I wasn't given the gift of family values from my dad, not my mom, my dad. Of course, being a fucking revolutionist, being a communist, he didn't learn family values, okay? But you see this happening everywhere globally, people cheating and people not giving anything. They respect big returns for little given back to the other party, and that's disrespectful if you think about it. You see a lot of people wanting, $15 an hour for shitty fucking service. And people can make the argument, oh well, I'm making $15, I will do this for you if you pay me $15 an hour. But at the same time, we pay $15 an hour for majority for stuff that we hear up here in the mountains and stuff, and get fucking shitty service. This is what I'm talking about. It's not reciprocity. It's pretty much the total opposite of it. You're giving money for shitty ass service. That's what the article is saying, and it's what we're lacking in our social value system today. So hope you guys learn a lot from the video. And let me okay, so you can find, I do have a podcast called the Far Out Wisdom Podcast. You can find my information at faroutwisdom.podbean.com. You're right there. All you can have, like, all my latest episodes. I am available. The Far Out Wisdom Podcast is available on all podcast player. It's available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. It's available on Amazon Music. Just look up Far Out Wisdom Podcast on Pandora or something, and it'll pop up. And if you guys like to contribute and donate to the Far Out Wisdom Podcast and to support my work, you can see my Patreon, www.patreon.com/boonhim, www.paypal.me/boonhim, Venmo.com/boonhim. You could, and I do have a sponsor as well. Podbean is sponsoring my podcast, which is fucking awesome. And I do have a sponsor called Rebecca Eigen from shadowdance.com. They can find her information. So when you guys get a consultation, go to shadowdance.com, www.shadowdance.com. And when you guys do a consultation down below, make sure you say Boon Ham sent you, because I get paid for it. Reciprocity, guys. Reciprocity. So, anyways, I do have my YouTube channel. I'm at 144 subscribers. So every time I upload a video, I lose a subscriber. This is just, I'm used to it right now. Right now, I could have been up to like 300, but that's just what happens. Okay. So anyways, so when you guys subscribe and you guys like, it does help for me. So we're exchanging our values together. So when I get your like, I get your subscribe, I get your share, you get content from me, which is absolutely free. And pretty much it's all donating, all donate setup that I have, because I really enjoy talking about this stuff and sharing knowledge and stuff like that, because as an INTJ, that's what I do. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. As always, guys, stay far out.